Islam, Islam, Islam. Praise Allah and honor to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This segment today is all about you. So it's best to start now or don't ever do it. What today's show is about, if you haven't started preparing for your future, it's best to start now. Because there's so much inconsistencies going on amongst the people to the point where a lot of people are not ready for the catastrophe to happen. And I'm going to say this to you all. To all these ones who have self-hatred and they don't like what they see in the mirror and they want to change this and change that and alter what is ordained for them to be, but they show this self-hatred and don't even recognize that they're chosen. So either you chose by praise God Allah or you chosen by Satan. So you cannot sit here and try to get me to accept what ones are talking about, because I don't see those things. And what I mean by that is this is a various topic of the day. And the problem is the so-called Negro blacks and colors who choose to call themselves black, only being called Negro, is phenomenal way of thinking to be able to be proud of something that doesn't even belong to you from the beginning. So how is it that you choose to accept things that doesn't even identify who you are? First we were called black or more. Then they changed the word a more out and said we're black, Negro, right? So Negro came first, which means black. So if you don't like being called Negro, which means black, then you don't like being called black. So with all due respect to our ancient forefathers and mothers, family, we never called ourselves black. Our ancient forefathers and mothers never called themselves black. So if you don't like being called out your name, then why don't you have some type of race pride to proclaim your nationality, so to speak? Because we all know that Negro, blacks, and colors, Afro-American, African-American, this name was given to us by the slaveholder. Mr. George Washington himself says that the Moorish children are truly Negro, blacks, and colored folks. That's what he said. And if you think I'm lying, look it up. This is not fabrication of the truth, not personal feelings. This is all accurate. What you need to do, look up the quote of George Washington, what he said about the Moors. And this is a specific quote that he used during the time of the first convention of this nation being recognized and bringing heart to the people, while we keep ignoring who we truly are. So we accept slander as a Negro, black, and colored people, so-called, deformation of character. You see what I'm saying? Now, if anybody watched the Malcolm movie, I think it came out in 1990 something, one of those years, where they were talking about the word black and white. White, innocent, pure, you know what I'm saying? And all these wonderful, uplifting things. Now, when you look at the word black, it means wicked, sullen, absent of light, which means darkness, death. You know what I'm saying? These things that these things allude to slavery. But you have to look at the allegory of what is, because if it's a noun, it's a person, place, or thing, or idea, supposedly, right? But an adjective is what is a descriptive of a noun. So describing something means that it has a specific characteristic. The characteristic is the manifest of thought. And thought is the cause of everything, family. So, with that being said, I'm here to tell y'all today that the people who really truly identify as white is people of African descent. If you look at the application that you put in and you look at the word white, it'll say anybody who is of African descent, Northwest Africa, so to speak. That's what it says. I can't make it up. So, I'm here to tell y'all that the people who have good hospitality and a loving heart are Asiatic people who have melanin, who have a pure state of mind, who have morals, who are innocent, who just all in all just care for people and want for people as you want for yourself. Now, let's look at the ethnicity of the so-called white people who are Caucasian, who are Anglo-Saxon. About 94% of your Caucasian people are wicked, straight up. Now, this is not falsehood. We've seen this throughout history, that they're beyond civilized. A wicked person cannot be civilized because they're not in their proper thinking. So if their thoughts are death, divide and conquer, to kill, steal, and destroy, and this is what Europeans, so-called white people, 90% of them, are wicked. If you think I'm lying, look who's in Hollywood. Look who is behind the scenes of Hollywood. The Khazars, the Jewish people, the Christian folk. You draw what I'm saying? So-called white people who run Hollywood. And everything that they do in Hollywood is an abomination. So, how can a people classified to be white, but their characteristics is not white? The characteristics of these Klansmen or Nazis or these German Jews are hateful people. So how can they be innocent and pure and all this other stuff and you know, don't want to cause trouble, no war, no peace? Explain that to me, please, because I never met a person who was white, supposedly, and were meeting the characteristics of the definition white. Majority of the people who are slaveholders in 1774, right, round up the Moors, the so-called Latino, Chicano, Hispanic, the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Blackfoot, Cherokee, Sioux, etc. These are all Moorish people. Now, these are my people too, because I come from that bloodline. My so-called people from North Central South America come from that bloodline. My people from so-called Philippines come from that bloodline. My so-called people from Asia, throughout Asia, come from that bloodline. Now, what ended up happening is that the same people who knew that intentionally the Titanic was going to sink abandoned the ship, which was Rothschild. They abandoned ship. And they intentionally sunk the Titanic. It was unintentionally. So that way the 13 family bankers could be in the process of the making. To be able to uphold and withstand Council on Foreign Relations with banks all around the world. And I'm saying to say this. From the Collins, the Bundys, the Kennedys, Rothschild, Rockefellers, you name it, the Lee family, they all, what they did was, in order to connect all 13 families, what they did was they took each member of the family and married into the other family so they could create a family banking system. And this is the same banking system we're on right now. This is the same banking system that funds your military. And it's not your tax dollars, brothers and sisters. Let's not get it twisted. So when we look at the certain conditions of the people of democracy, look at the conditions. The conditions that was being created by the European powers that be are now allowing Asian people to suffer. Let's get it right. Let's look at it for what it truly is. There is no democracy in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will never pledge allegiance to a flag. Stars and Stripes belong to the Moors because we are the ones who created it. Betsy Ross was truly a Moabitess, Asiatic, olive-hued, melanated woman, not no pale-skinned Anglo-Saxon European woman. Let's call the facts what it is, family. All the inventions that were invented by Asiatics. Moorish people of Asia, Africa, and here in the Americas. Because we landed on Europe and civilized Europe. But Europe did not land on us and civilize us. And let's not get it twisted, family. Because all that U.S. history mumbo jumbo was all orchestrated by the Rothschild Rockefellers to begin with anyways, to condition our minds to accept this falsehood of indoctrination. But we fail to see the truth for ourselves because we are being bamboozled and being bullied by our teachers to accept this falsehood. So if we accept this falsehood, that means we accept lies and deceit. So when we get all A's and good grades, the government pays us. Why is that? And what government is this? Is this a democracy or a republic? Because this is only two entities that operate in America alone. What ended up happening was, throughout history, the Europeans dominated every nation and reconditioned the people's state of mind, what the Moors have already done prior to Europe being civilized. We civilized all Asian nations. There was no communism, it was peace. When the Europeans got into power, now all of a sudden Asian nations were like fighting each other. African nations started fighting each other. You know why? Alexander the Great, the homosexual, all this bestiality, all this homosexuality, all this indoctrination, pedophilia, zoology, you name it. Come on now. So why now all of a sudden that homosexuality is now being accepted and being indoctrinated in schools? We can't sit here and blame all the so-called white people, but we got to point the finger at the ones who created this educational system and the one who's getting funding off of everybody's birth certificate. You wonder why? But I'm here to expose what really goes on. And do you know that the 13 family bankers, a lot of them are Masons, Eastern Stars. A lot of them proclaim to be Christian too. But I'm going to take a pause for a minute because we got some people in the chat. Islam to DJ Jake, the disc jockey Jake. And we got Corn Pop because they don't want to call themselves Popcorn. Okay. And we got somebody named after Stormy. My dog name was Stormy. But that doesn't apply to you. But shout out to all the people in the chat who gave me greetings. Greetings back to y'all. But back to what I'm saying. As I'm traveling to my next destination, you all have to pay attention to what's really going on. The reason why we got all this stuff, the celebrities are jumping ship to other nations and all this other stuff, because of P. Diddy and all this garbage, is all a disaster waiting to happen. It's all a distraction waiting to happen. To get you off your mind of the thing that you're supposed to be being responsible for, instead of gossiping about stuff by some hearsay, what you hear what the media is talking about. Do I give a what P. Diddy did? No, I don't. Do I give a care about Chris Brown and all of them was? No, not necessarily. I don't. You know why? Because I have to keep my mind on the straight path. I got to keep my mind on the truth. But I'm going to keep it real honest with y'all, because the simple fact that not too many people really understand what really happened. But for the sake of argument, I'm going to be the one to tell y'all that if you really honestly think that these celebrities who got murdered in 1997, right? I think y'all should guess again, because all these sources are pointing towards falsehood. So now you really need to ask yourself, what is really going on? Are you going to believe the hype? I don't. It's just best that the people keep focused. Keep focused on your family and reunite your family and making sure that you're doing the right thing. Young children, make sure you're being obedient to your mother and father if they demonstrate righteousness. But you, young adults, who blame your mother or father for whatever reason, you have to be held accountable for what you do. You have to do the right thing. You have to make things happen so that way you don't make the same mistakes. This is why we go through hardship. So we need to get off this whole celebrity thing. Who does what, yada, 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 yada. That's not important. So now the question is, what happens when the bank shut down? How you going to get your money? How you going to feed your babies? But you worry about these celebrities. You worry about what happened with Bill Cosby. You heard about what happened with Tupac and Biggie. But if anything, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Tupac and Biggie are not deceased. They're alive. I said it. Because it's a simple fact that you guys got to read between the lines. Everything they do in the industry is a distraction. People get blackballed from the industry almost 90% of the time because they don't want to follow through the rituals. I'm going to say this. I've met Cisco, the Dragon, from Drew Hill. And right after I met him, when I was working in a grocery store, and he showed me his dragon tattoo to prove that who he said he was. Cisco, shout out to you and your wonderful family, brother. You know what I mean? You done well for yourself. You got out the industry. You told the truth. You know what I'm saying? And now you're doing your thing, which is good. Proud of you. Michael Jackson's not dead. Let's just get real honest. Nope. Neither is Bruce Lee. But moving on from the celebrity status, I'm done talking about it now. I just want y'all to be real honest with yourself. When everything shuts down, the grocery store shut down, your fast food chains and everything shut down, and they're no longer accepting $1, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you prepared? Are you ready for the zombie apocalypse? Because people going to be eating people's flesh now, and y'all ain't going to be ready for it. So all your little friends going to turn their back on you. All your little best friends going to turn their back on you because it's going to be every man, woman, and child for themselves. Be ready. Be ready. Because if you're not ready, and you're going to be suffering greatly because the simple fact that you choose not to get yourself 90 days supply worth of food and water, at least 10 to 15, 20 gallon, 5 gallon bottle waters on reserve, and then have 5 additional gallons of water for yourself, just in case. You never know, right? Then you gotta think about, forget toilet paper. You ain't gonna need that. You'll need a bag to probably clean yourself, get you some baby wipes. You know what I'm saying? Toilet paper ain't gonna do you no justice. Portable stove, portable washing machine. You know what I mean? Plan, plot. You gotta be the one to save yourself, but I'm the brother here is to basically let you know what I've read in the prophecy of Prophet Noble Drew Ali himself. But you gotta be real careful on who you are social with. Because just because you're social with someone doesn't make you your friend. I haven't seen my best friends in years. And you know what? I pray that they're all as well. If I see them again, all is well. We're always going to be best friends. But I'm here to let you know that it's all about preparation. We see all these earthquakes happening. We see all this stuff happening. We see all this madness, disgusting stuff happening in schools where children have to be forced to choose to be what gender they want to be. And any mother or father says otherwise, they get locked up. That doesn't sound right to me. That don't sound like the republic I know. That sounds like a democracy. That's what it sounds like. Democracy with hypocrisy. Democracy is ran by Satan. Seriously. The Democrats don't care for nobody but themselves and their inner circle. Because they swore an oath in the Masonic order, that's why. Do you really think that Joe Biden has real severe issues with Donald Trump? No, they're in the same program. They're all connected to one society. New World Order. So what's going on is this thing called BioLife. I'm going to explain to you in detail why they need all that plasma and paying people so much money. Because they need it to keep the rich people healthy. FEMA is another fictitious organization that only cares about themselves. Because they're being funded by the Rothschild Rockefellers. But we all must keep in mind, family, that we have to pay attention to all this stuff. Why are these people who are traveling in their conveyances in their cars, supposedly, driving wicked? You know why? Because they're under hypnosis and they can't focus. They're putting something in the food to the point where blood pressure's being raised up, they're whacked out their minds, and they're consuming some type of crazy medicine that ones are not thinking right. But I need y'all to keep in mind of being honest in what is truly going on in your neck of the woods. So you make sure that you're straight and make sure you're good. That's all I have to say. Make sure you're straight. Because when this democracy comes to an end, everything's going to be how to turn over to the indigenous people. And you can't be wacky cracky out your mind thinking you don't get your land. But I need y'all to do me a favor. Everything I'm speaking on right now, do your homework. Always make time to read. Always make time to learn. Get on this channel and better your condition and better yourself. That's all you can do. So family, in all, I gotta go because I got things to do. Peace and love. I pray that whatever that you all are going through, I pray that you conquer in the name of peace and you find a solution to whatever problem you may have. So I'm going to say this prayer for y'all. Allah, Father, Universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day. Through His holy prophet, Drew Ali, Amin, Islam. Peace and love, family. Man, these people can't drive. They brake checking. Peace and love, family.